Okay, let's take this up to an 11. You guys ready?
What is... Oh, an 11. I
We're
can't...
going to take it up to an 11. Cool. What is up, Puzzle Pack? We're back at it again. Next episode of Barely Independent Podcast. I'm Ezra. With me, we have Peter. We have Tyron over there. And behind the sound desk, we have Benjamin, who is such a hunk of a man. Guys, how's it been? It's been a while.
Episode 6.
Yo.
Episode 6.
It's been a while, huh?
Yes.
We're behind a week.
We're behind a week.
New
but
scheduling info.
Yeah, we're not behind a week. Everyone else is ahead a week because we're switching to every 4 weeks. Because we just want to ensure quality content and give out everything for it. So in order to ensure that every 4 weeks, but don't fret because we now have Barely highlights uploading every Friday at 7 p.m. South African Standard Time.
Wholesome stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
guys, please,
really exciting stuff.
Just keep a lookout on the socials around our Barely highlights.
Yes.
Because, they're dropping. Please, if you're on WhatsApp with us or Facebook or wherever else we are on social media,
Come on.
Yeah.
please. have a
Cool.
look.
Check
And
that out.
Just like a disclaimer, we apologize if you've heard any chirping sounds in the background. We've got a bird in the office.
Yes, there's totally a bird. That is why there's chirping. Yes. Okay, let's just jump right into it. First topic, the new iPhone was just announced. Guys, we all have iPhones here except Ben because Ben's lame.
Hey.
Whoa.
What?
Please, I'm not a sheeple.
I don't get it.
They hate us because they ain't us. What are your thoughts? Yet another iPhone. Do you guys think Apple's finally innovating again, launching something with 3 cameras, or do you think it's just another phone? We can't market cap's been reached.
That's my impression. It's just another phone now.
Yeah. I think as much as I hate the Samsung flip phone,
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But I feel like Samsung is innovating more than what Apple is doing with even their new phones. And I think that was always that's been the frustration since I don't know, maybe even the iPhone 6.
Yeah.
Has the innovation really changed from you have a 6.
The big jump was 5 to 6.
I have a 7, and then you have the 10, 10S. And it's the main difference is my one opens with a fingerprint.
Yes.
Yours with your face, Ezra.
Yes.
And then
with the code.
with the code.
Oh, you have a fingerprint.
I do have a fingerprint.
Sorry, you have. Oh, my bad. Okay.
It's not that old.
No, you take live pictures. I can't, bro.
Yeah, it's it's the live pictures. Those pictures have to look like they're moving, like they're possessed.
And then interesting, I think we just spoke about it, is the version 13 of iOS is not available for your 6.
Yes.
Really?
So you got denied.
I got 12.4
But I just want to point out that it's a 5-year phone. Ben, with your Android phones, you only get 2 years cycles max or something.
Yeah, but at least I don't need to pay an arm and a leg for something that's not much different.
You don't need those because you can unlock it with your face now.
You made the lame joke.
I made the lame joke.
So you say it's a 5-year phone.
It's a 5-year. So I went from a 6 to this.
Wow, that
And
must have been a big jump.
It's a 5-year-old phone. So very happy to have it.
Yeah.
But
Best feature.
yeah, no, this phone should last me another 5 years.
My iPhone, okay, so I don't want to make my iPhone experience. my experience was I went straight from a BlackBerry, hear me out, curve.
Wait,
Like BlackBerry curve, the really
9300.
Yeah. When BBS was just dying, or was it
BBM?
BBM, sorry.
BBM and BBS.
Was just dying off, and I was like, I need a phone. And then I've always wanted an iPhone. I'm not an iPhone or Apple fanboy, but I've always wanted that phone. And I went to a 5.
Okay.
Oh, okay, nice.
And that was an amazing jump. Then I went from a 5 to a 6.
Yes.
And that jump was big for me. Yeah. I could feel the difference.
Yeah.
In
When
size as well.
Yeah, true. When I went from the 6 to the 7, I was very disappointed.
Genuine.
Because
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
you've just upgraded. You literally
Yes.
you just make a copy of your phone and then back it up
Everything
on.
is- yeah.
And it's no time, and that's amazing about Apple. But I was so upset because I remember I went to Zanzibar
Yeah,
when
you
I got
just got it,
I
a week
just got
before.
it, and I'm like, there's no,
We were relying on you for pictures.
yeah. And yes, the camera was better, but that was it.
Do you almost think that's part of the whole thing with Apple? People buying these products expecting their lives to be changed.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, it's how
Apple-
disappointing.
But it's because Apple sell a lifestyle. They sell that.
They
You've
really
got the
do,
latest
yeah.
Apple.
Yeah.
Wow.
and that's Steve Jobs to thank for that. But like, I want to take this and just flip it on its head.
Oh, very good pun.
Samsung's folding phone is back. It's in the hands of reviewers. People's been like releasing videos on it again, and they released a video with it saying, "Please take care of this phone. It's a special phone. Tap it gently. Give it the respect it deserves."
Don't
So,
fold it.
Peter, you were saying it's really cool, but do you think this long shot is viable?
So I think today's phone, and I'm thinking about all of us, irregardless if you have an Apple or an Android, this phone is going everywhere with you. It is absolutely, if you're hiking, if you're an active person, if you're, maybe your job requires you to be, very active or climbing or whatever and doing all sorts of stuff, your phone is going everywhere. It's a necessity. Your life, your business, everything is on the phone.
Fair point.
If your phone is slightly delicate in some way, like some phones are, but you get a case, you get a protective screen cover, and that should cover you. And maybe you are one of those people who get Apple Care, or what Samsung's got a new feature coming out now with the new phones.
Fold Care.
Well, they've always had like free screen replacements and stuff.
But there's something been promoted with a new range of.
No, I haven't seen that yet. I don't follow Samsung.
Okay.
I sound like such a horrible person. I'm so sorry.
I think the ad has been like everybody dropping their phones and it's just like mashed. And they're like, with the new whatever, you can now prevent that. But I just think something that I remember in one of the things they were saying that even the magnetic clip thing on the phone.
Yeah.
If you've got like other stuff that's sent, like credit cards or something, debit cards, it's just going to, wreck the magnetic strip on that stuff. So you need to be careful of that. I think the phone, what I have even seen with the first generation they released, is awesome. It's one of those.
It looks so cool.
It does.
It's the future. The future's now.
It is. And it is something that, like when the iPad came out, it was a new.
It's a game changer.
It's a game changer. It's a new thing in the market that nobody has a.
But what is the need for the fold is my question.
So let's say you're walking around, right? And you take out your phone. But now maybe you want to read something and you wish you had your tablet here. Boom! Crack it open. It's now a tablet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's life changing. So like there was the scene in Tomorrowland. It's like very obscure, but like this guy's sitting on this bullet train thing and then opens up and it's this huge electronic newspaper. That's basically what you have.
Yeah. And I think for the way that mobile gaming is going,
Yeah.
a larger surface area to game on, that is not something to shy away from. YouTube being, because I consume a lot of YouTube on my phone.
Mostly on my phone,
Yeah. If you have a larger surface area, that's even better. But it's not a tablet. You can still fold it and put it in your pocket.
Oh,
Yeah, you don't need like a man
There's
purse.
something there. Yeah. Especially with men. Okay, I know we've got the fanny packs around the.
Those are in. Those
are
back.
in.
Should they be in?
was funny.
Tune in next week for that answer. But so like clearly.
So are we taking kind of a consensus? We pro Samsung Fold and anti iPhone 11.
No, I still think it's stupid for now. Give it another 2 generations.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
No,
the Fold or
The Fold.
Okay.
So like to show you just what innovation there is, the company Xiaomi, they released a new phone. It has a folding screen, but not like a physical hinge. The screen wraps around the physical phone device.
Okay.
So literally, you have the screen in front, and then it wraps around, and then you can see it at the back as well.
So the people like opposite you can watch as well.
Yeah. So like you're browsing the internet, and everyone behind you can.
That can be
Okay, sorry, just to bring this back a bit. Samsung, folding phone. Xiaomi, all screen phone. iPhone, 3 cameras. Wow. So innovative.
But like, okay, it takes Apple to do something for the industry to catch on,
What
right?
do you mean catch on? Look at all these
Apple's
Asian
behind at the
companies who are
moment.
making these revolutionary
Phones.
phones.
Sure.
And
And
Apple's
iPhone's
put an
just
extra
adding
camera.
an extra camera.
Yeah, but like,
That's true.
you come with your logic and reason, Benjamin.
Because I believe the premier micro processor for phones is. Am I right in saying that that's a what's it called? Dragon something?
So there's Qualcomm chips in phones. So basically, all phones have the same system on a chip, same backbone, except the iPhones, which have the A13 Bionic processors, which are insane from a technical standpoint, just like fanboying as a computer scientist. But pretty much everyone has the opportunity of building a good phone.
Okay.
It's just what you can do with it. How are you going to like separate yourself from the market?
Sure.
Okay, we go.
Yeah, I think we've said what we've needed to say about Samsung, about the new iPhone, and thinking iPhone. because they're in America, and I'm really pulling the segue. The Trump impeachment inquiry. We're going a bit political now. This was absolutely insane. Like a U.S. president possibly like being forced to step down from office.
Okay,
Peter,
but
you have context.
But how many impeachment threats have there been since he took office?
Yes.
And how many have
Non-stop,
there
yeah.
actually been? And what is the
This is the
result?
first time they're acting on it.
Okay, but okay.
Okay, so context for it. We've got a phone call between Trump and the new Ukrainian president, which, by the way, he's an actor.
Yeah.
I think we even mentioned this in the previous podcast.
Okay.
He's an actor.
Really?
Yeah. His election, like
Was he that comedian guy that was playing in a series as the president?
as a teacher,
Yes. Yes.
then ran for the presidency and then got it, and then in real life, as a comedian, ran for the presidency and got it.
Cheap.
So that's just a bit of that's some free information.
So Trump and him should be like perfect buddies.
Absolutely,
Like,
right?
get this,
from
like,
the
fame from
entertainment,
TV.
from the entertainment field. So he's got the conversation between the two of them. We just keep in mind the 2020 elections are coming up. People are campaigning hard right now, and it's
Okay.
just going to get even tougher because the elections happen next year, November the 3rd, I believe. So Trump has the conversation with the Ukrainian president about there's some military aid because of stuff that's happening on their border that they want to offer. But in the conversation, I know that transcript has been released. Trump is saying, listen, we need to find out before I can give you, I think it's something like $400 million US
That
worth
is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Say that he wants to investigate the potential corruption that's happening, and specifically related to your boy Joe Biden when he was vice president in I think it went down in 2014 where there was a natural gas deal that went down, and he had
Was
quite
it
a
gas pipeline or was the fracking thing?
I don't know if it was fracking or gas.
2014 was a long time ago.
It was a very long time ago. But basically, there was a gas deal. Something went down. He was instrumental in getting it done. And then, like, a few months later, his son gets a job with the very same gas company as a board member. So that was the kind of stuff that he wanted to investigate. Then the phone call happens in, I believe, August 21st or something.
So it was a while ago. Like it was like about a month ago.
Yeah. So I think the whistleblower document that also got released now recently, which everybody's freaking out about, has been, people have had that in their possession for a few weeks as well.
Okay.
And then the CIA operative, I don't know how you do that, but he followed channels or whatever to get this. He's saying that it's someone misusing his power as a president in a foreign leader to then investigate one of his
Political rivals.
Yeah, like
basically using his influence for political gain in his own country.
so it kind of makes you think that maybe the CIA or the FBI didn't want to because there was no case, and then like he's like talking to the Ukrainian president and being Trump, he's like, "Can you investigate them? It would be great. You get the money." That was bad.
And I think
Great
the word
Trump
the
impression.
word people are throwing was like, just play ball. Like if you can play ball,
You can play ball.
Yeah. So and then I think the Ukrainian president also in an interview with Trump on camera said like he didn't feel pressured at all, and then this whistleblower went into a lot of detail. Like his report has a lot more information on this. The one thing that I really struggle with is one of the points that this lawyer made on Fox News, I think it was today. He was saying that as soon as Trump became president, his sons and daughters just stopped international deals.
Wow.
They had to.
Yeah, no,
They had to, right? Because they started, doing political work.
Yeah.
Okay, they had been even when he was campaigning. So as soon as Joe Biden's the vice president, his son gets this really cushy job and is earning a lot of money.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
it's oil and gas.
But nobody's people are just washing over that fact
because it's not Trump.
because it's not Trump.
So it's like Trump's almost a victim of his own popularity.
Yeah.
Or the hatred around.
I feel that this whole thing is just people throwing chum in the water, and it's just the piranhas.
Yeah.
Just a feeding frenzy.
Because
like,
it's the year before they start campaigning hard, and if you can just like nail this guy down now,
Because the next election's 2020. Joe Biden's one of the front runners for the
Correct.
Democratic Party.
correct.
Everyone, well, he wins if Biden has this public image. I just want to point out though with history. So like you've given the context on why they've decided to initiate impeachment proceedings, and what's interesting about American impeachment proceedings. A U.S. president can be impeached, but that doesn't mean they get kicked out of office. So, for example, Bill Clinton was
There
a
we go.
recent one.
Hashtag Bill Clinton. I was going to say that.
He was found guilty in impeachment proceedings, but then remained in office till the end of his term. Like, kind of lame duck.
So what? He
but-
couldn't renew his second term though. Was
No,
that the
he,
verdict?
He served.
So what's the point of it?
He got impeached in his second term.
He got impeached in his second term.
He ran it up. Right?
So
So
what's the point of an impeachment?
That's what people's asking. So the U.S. Constitution, like, I don't know nearly enough to give proper insight into it, but it's interesting in how some of the things are set up and convoluted. So a lot of power is placed in the executive. So even though Congress might initiate these proceedings and find him guilty, it doesn't mean that he's going to be leaving office before. And anyway, the election's 2020. It doesn't make sense for him to leave office. And like what, Mike Pence is going to take over?
Yeah.
We'll probably get to the moon if he takes over because that guy loves NASA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that guy is like pretty much like NASA's biggest fanboy.
Wow.
So that's just some background into one North American leader, but taking it to the other North American leader, by far the most attractive one. But he's found himself in some hot water. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, is
Guilty of blackface.
under fire. Yes, he apologized for blackface and brownface. So pretty much how the story goes, there was a picture of him at a party. I believe the party's theme was Arabian Nights, and he dressed up as Aladdin, but he's dressed up in full brownface.
Wow.
So, going further with the story, the picture came out, everyone was angry. He decides to call an media press conference and apologizes for it. But he doesn't just apologize for that, he also apologizes for another case of blackface, which had not yet surfaced. He painted himself in blackface and performed Deo. Like, daylight come and you want to go home.
That's it.
He did that, like for some concert or something. So, guys, thoughts on a leader doing like blackface, brownface? Is it as big of a deal as people's been making it, Ty?
I think that's a good point. Is if it wasn't a president, if it wasn't a person in power, would have gotten that much trouble? And also, I want to go into context. These pictures were taken in 2001.
A long time
18 years ago. And let's take it further. And I'm not trying to justify what he did, but back then the world was a lot more tolerant of any, there was no such thing as the term cultural appropriation had not been phrased, had not been coined yet.
Yeah.
But it might have still been, it was still cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
The term just wasn't there in the
Well,
world.
it was more culturally insensitive still, even then.
Okay.
But
For the school play,
Yeah.
I get because if you go watch any play, they kind of do that with a lot of the actors. But now that his president is in the limelight, I do respect that he still went out and apologized.
Yes.
His quote is, he said, let me just find it over here. It was very sweet. He said, I've worked all my life to try and create opportunities for all people to fight against racism and intolerance. And I can just stand here and say that I made a mistake when I was younger and I wish I hadn't. So
do you think the apology was enough?
what else was he supposed to do?
I don't know. That's the question that's been going online.
But I think in his apology, he said it so well. I've worked all my life to fight this.
Yes.
So I think that's enough.
Yeah.
And
So-
the most liberal country in the world is Canada.
Is at the moment because of Justin Trudeau. So I'm inclined to agree with you here, but the big public discourse is that is it enough? Should he have not done it at all? You're looking at polling numbers for the next election that's coming up. Some people saying that this has completely destroyed his chance of getting reelected, among other things, because a few people didn't like him because he might have been a bit too woke for Canada.
I just want to add that there is another
There's three.
situation. Sorry, yeah. There is three brownface.
Wait, there was a third one.
Yeah.
I only read up of two.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to add, his re-election already has, the prospects have dipped because I think it was last year, it was revealed that a Justice Minister, Jody Wilson-Raybould, an Indigenous woman, claimed that the Prime Minister had pressured her to reach a settlement in a criminal case in a Canadian-based engineering construction company called SNC Lavalin. Now, the thing is, Lavalin support like make massive financial contributions to the Liberal Party in Quebec, where he's from.
Oh no.
So it's a massive conflict of interest when apparently, you know, he was pressurizing this woman to just make it go away, kind of. You know,
yes, I remember this outcry, and then you had to answer to so many people, and there was.
So now that happens again with an Indigenous woman fighting for, you know, Indigenous people's rights in Canada. And you got this massive engineering company trying to obviously build on like some piece of land or whatever. And he goes and says that. And now you have blackface coming out. 3 cases. It's not looking good for the Liberal guy.
Yeah, and like it's kind of putting in a negative light everything good he's done. And, and how far he's progressed it, because he's like also the first prime minister with Native American descent. So like if you go back a few generations, there's that within him. So like everyone, like, you know, he's young, he's good looking, he talks well, fluent in French and English, and like
most Canadians.
Yeah, but now what is he going to be remembered for? Oh, that Canadian prime minister that dressed up in brownface,
Wow,
blackface, that sang Deo for a school concert. I hope he sang it well.
Yeah.
But I think another funny thing is that really, because he had the press conference in like an airplane, and these people were asking him about this blackface incident.
How did they get on the airplane? Sorry, or were they on the airplane with him?
No. I think it was like as the airplane landed, they came on board. Because obviously I don't know if Canada has a Air Force Canada.
Air Force Canada.
It's like a smaller version.
And it's like, sorry about that A on the side of the plane.
Everybody was asking him questions, and he said that exact same thing that Ty was just saying, and it was really well said. And then there was like a female journalist right towards the end, and she was like, "Is there any other instance of blackface that you?" And he specifically is like, "I regret this instance."
No,
like emphasizing that it's this instance that he's thinking about. And there probably is another. And then I think the issue, the one thing that really threw me off is like, he's really like theatrical, and he maybe takes the costumes a bit too seriously.
Yeah, it's like just really into character.
Because the costume looks amazing. It looks like
it looks good.
a cosplayer.
But you would know he's Aladdin without the brown face. But the I saw this tweet just before we end off on this topic. It's some guy, he was verified, so it was probably some famous guy I don't know about. He tweeted that currently the USA has more senators who have dressed up in blackface than black senators. And then you get PolitiFact replying to the tweet, and they're like, we checked this is accurate. So vote responsibly, everyone, regardless of where you are.
No. I think also, how many years ago was this?
2018.
Back then it was probably more acceptable.
Well, yeah.
Times have changed.
Yeah, acceptable in quotation.
No, absolutely.
Marks, yeah.
We're now more sensitive.
The world's far more sensitive to these kind of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we deep dived into politics. Now let's move over to Japan, to the land of the rising sun. It is the Rugby World Cup. The opening was there. The games have been going. The Bokke. Springboks. Ty, what's been happening?
So obviously everyone's quite excited for the Rugby World Cup, mostly because it's been 4 years since the last one. South Africa hopes up because we won the Tri-Nations, or the Rugby Championship as it's now called.
Yeah.
But also, rugby's gone far east.
Yes,
and
the first World Cup in Asia.
And if you go back 4 years ago to the last World Cup, Springboks lost to Japan. The shock, the biggest shock, which actually made a lot of people quite happy, because all of a sudden a country's going to get a lot more exposure to rugby.
But they have like 2 or 3 South African players.
Well, if anyone here can guess the Japanese lock, number 4, his name is Labis Labaskachny. So he's definitely not Japanese.
Respect.
Lapis is playing in Japan for the national team.
Is it insensitive if I do the accent?
No, it's not. It's just it's like.
Sorry, this is bad. Yeah, okay, no. I was like rubbish.
Yeah, one day you're gonna become famous, and then they're gonna go back to this podcast.
It's like, hey, cancel barely independent. Yep. It's like, we don't mean it. I swear, I have Asian friends. So you were saying.
So on the World Cup, on the whole, it's really exciting that rugby's back. People are watching it again. There's everyone talking about it. New Zealand, not the favourites. Ireland are the favourites. They're ranked number 1 in the world. Yeah. However, after New Zealand beating South Africa, I think New Zealand have taken back the number 1 rankings.
How quickly do the rankings come into play?
I think every week they get changed. They get adjusted.
Wow.
And obviously the World Cup really, because international games aren't that frequent, and the World Cup enforces frequency of games. But the Springboks lost to New Zealand, and
you're a New Zealand supporter.
I can't say it on the podcast. I support South African rugby, and I like New
Yeah,
Zealand
okay,
rugby.
that's great. Yeah, South African rugby, right?
No,
yeah.
I love South African rugby. I support the Boks, but I love New Zealand rugby. Can I say that I'm really happy that it was. No, let me say
It was a good podcast while it lasted.
It's like,
it was
damn,
actually.
now we're getting
I want to
cancelled.
just cover the game. The
Sure.
game was a bit boring.
Yeah.
I don't think South Africa played well at all.
Yes,
And I don't think New Zealand even featured in much of the second half.
Sure.
So it's a so-so. The World Cup hasn't been like really great. There's been one upset, Georgia beating Fiji.
like where even is Georgia again? Like
On the map.
It's not the state.
No, it's not.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not the state.
It's Eastern Bloc European. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yes.
former SSR. Like,
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like
Yeah.
a fake Russia.
What do you mean
Yeah.
fake
Please
Russia? They
don't say
were
that.
Russian.
Oh, Crimea War in the office, yeah, bro. No, I'm joking. And so it's been a so-so World Cup for me. So far,
Did any of you guys catch the opening ceremony though?
no, I didn't.
Oh, okay. But yeah, you were saying like according to games, matches.
The games have been
What's
so-so.
to look for? What do we look forward to?
I would say look forward to Japan.
Okay.
Japan.
And
Yeah.
not necessarily because of their performance, they're doing well, but I think in South Africa we call it the Chias.
Yeah.
Oh, those people there, they're the best.
The Japanese really support their
Absolutely.
team, and they actually are doing well for a third-tier team, in the world. And I really, the fact that they beat us last World Cup,
But we beat them before the World Cup though.
yes, we thrashed them.
Yes, but
As in a warm-up
they
match.
thrashed Russia as well.
They thumped the first game.
Well, huh?
First game, that was
30-10.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, big
That
score.
was good.
Peter, any of your games you've seen?
No, I just wanted to look at maybe the prospects for the rest of the tournament. You know, I think we're in a good space in terms of our pool. That obviously New Zealand being paired with them in a pool is really tough.
It is.
But I think if we go 1 and 2,
Yeah.
New Zealand 1, we're 2, we will most likely face Ireland or Scotland, right? Which you just mentioned that they were number 1 or are still
so
number
Scotland,
1.
Scotland, not so much a threat. Ireland, a big threat.
How is Scotland allowed to play if they're part of the UK? Or is like there's an English team and there's a Scottish team?
So this isn't the British and Irish Lions.
Okay.
So the British and Irish Lions tour once every 4 years, and
Yeah.
that's all the Isles combined.
Oh, okay, the Isle.
Yeah. So Scotland, Wales, and Ireland.
Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland, different story.
They're not part of the union.
No, they are.
No,
Ireland.
Ireland's not part of
Yes.
Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland are.
I thought you said Northern Ireland.
So, I forgot where I was going. But Scotland, South Africa South Africa have a good track record beating Scotland. But in the Northern Hemisphere, we don't. So I'm worried both ways. They are a bogey team. It's
Yeah, makes sense.
Every team's got like a.
So essentially, we might get knocked out.
I don't want to say it, but
No, I also don't wanna say it.
if we meet Ireland in the quarterfinals, there's a potential. But
But we'll make it to like the playoff stage.
Yeah.
statistically,
Yes.
Springboks do well in World Cups.
Okay.
Statistically, except for the last two.
I was going to say that.
It's like how much data do we have to work with? Okay, cool. So that's been happening in Japan. Sticking with Japan, I believe next week F1 is
2 weeks
happening.
time.
2 weeks
2 weeks
time.
time.
F1's happening in Japan. The
Suzuka.
notes that we have here, it says Ferrari. Are they back in F1? Ty, what does that mean? Because you
I'm-
put that there.
Yeah, this is I know the sport
Big
seems
news.
to be my topic. So everyone knows when you think car, you think Ferrari. If you think red, you think Ferrari. The motorsport industry is synonymous with Ferrari, but that's because they were very dominant in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
I
But
wouldn't
in
know. I
In the
wasn't
modern era, and I'm not only saying Formula One, I'm
Yeah.
just saying cars in general.
Yeah, yeah,
Ferrari
of
been
course.
with a name for like 40 to
Yeah.
50 years. But all of a sudden, we're in the hybrid era now, okay? Where cars are turbocharged. And there's the KERS system, the kinetic energy reserve system. So the heat from the brakes and everything else is powered back into the car. Thing is, though, you're not relying on raw, naturally aspirated engines. There's so much technology. Now, this brings rise to your teams like Red Bull. This brings rise to Mercedes, who've dominated the last 5-6 years of Formula One. And Ferrari have really just been, if you're a solid Ferrari fan, it's been a bit disappointing. We had a kind of a resurgence with Fernando Alonso. Then Sebastian Vettel really came close last year. In the second half, it slipped. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Ferrari, who haven't won a race this entire year, go and win 3 in a row.
Damn.
And it's not your boy Vettel. It's the new 21-year-old Charles Leclerc.
So is it a matter of talent or technology?
Well, that's the big argument in Formula One.
Okay.
So is it the driver today or is it the car? And in this case, it seems to be a combination of both Ferrari fixing their problems and this young kid. I remember Raikkonen said in an interview in 2002 when he was young, he's still racing, weirdly enough. He said that when you're younger, you're more hungry. And that's why the younger people tend to start rising quicker. And so I'm really excited because I'm a Ferrari fan.
Yeah, of course.
Also,
like I almost am and I don't watch it. Like, I had the Lego set and everything. My dad
wow.
was into it, and I think he, like, everyone...
Was your dad a Schumacher fan? I bet you.
Yeah, probably.
I think everyone who watched Formula One...
Everyone was.
In the early 2000s,
into
Schumacher was the guy.
Yeah.
Well, what are you thinking about those rule changes they're looking into introducing, though?
Sure.
Because I heard there was things about reverse grid for...
Yes.
Like, do you think... Well, one, that the rules would help put control of the race back into the driver's hands, and two, that it's worth pursuing putting like skill above technology now.
So I think the reverse gridding helps with competitiveness. So right now, if you watch a Formula One race, there's normally one dominant driver, except for the last three, because Ferrari be winning by small margins. But normally there's a dominant driver who starts on pole and finishes first by 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Normally Hamilton. Now, with this reverse gridding stuff, it's more like there's going to be a lot more overtaking because your best guys are going to be starting maybe mid-pack or close to the back. And now, all of a sudden, you've got this... Like the best drivers have 20 cars to overtake. So you're going to see a lot more accidents. Not that I want the accidents.
No,
you're going to see a lot more overtakes. You're going to see a lot
It makes
more...
for exciting sport.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't they
But Vettel and Hamilton...
qualify slower, though?
Could you just elaborate for us
F1 people?
F1 people, what is reverse gridding?
Okay, so it's not like people who qualify first are going to qualify last.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's why I was asking.
Not that.
Okay.
So what you're going to have is it's called a sprint. Okay, and where you finish in the sprint race, the feature which isn't the feature race, you're going to start on a Sunday morning, on race day. Okay, and then your qualifying is going to determine where you start off in the sprint. Okay, so you're going to qualify for the sprint, which is on a Saturday. Then on the Saturday, you're going to have a sprint race, and where you finish on the sprint race, you're going to qualify for the main race.
This sounds needlessly complicated.
It is needlessly complicated, and I think it could actually mess up Formula One because it's where MotoGP, the motorbike sport.
Yeah.
If those of you.
Oh, that's always exciting. I've seen the GIF.
Or Superbike, I think they do that thing, and there's not much popularity around that sport anymore. So I'm worried because I want the best driver to win.
Yeah.
I don't want the driver who had a lucky sprint, because what if there's an accident in the sprint day? Then you qualify at the back.
No, absolutely.
Anyway, but Max Verstappen seemed to shine today, Peter. If you want to chat on Max.
I think so. All the Red Bull cars, that's Toro Rosso and Red Bull, are taking an engine penalty this weekend for Russia. So Honda has brought out a new upgrade. So that's pretty exciting. Even though everybody's going to be starting in the back, I think there's a lot of penalties. So that's 4 cars at the back.
Yep.
But then also there's another driver that's also got a penalty for something.
Yes, he's starting 20th actually.
Okay, yeah. So he's going to start right at the back. So it's gonna be interesting. There might be rain on Sunday.
That's gonna be lovely.
Which I'm really excited about, because that is always a real spanner in the work. But it also just, like we're talking about leveling the playing field.
Rain does that. Yeah.
Rain just does that. It really relies on the skill of the driver and what the mechanics can do with the setup and stuff. So that's going to be very interesting.
So we're looking at like very technical.
I think so, yeah.
It should be exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Choices of the tire. Like if you choose slicks and it starts raining, you're gonna just slide off the track.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it looks like we're up for an interesting new Grand Prix coming up. Looking forward to that. Maybe I should get into it, but I don't have cable TV, so. Anyway, next up, we're going to move all the way over from Japan to India. Bill Gates gives awards to the Prime Minister of India for toilets.
Wow.
What on earth is happening there? Peter, I think you...
Anyone watch to get context, anyone watch the Bill Gates special on Netflix?
I did, and I highly recommend to the people listening just to check it out.
And that's kind of like taking him, like dissecting his psyche.
Absolutely, and really focusing on
the toilets,
on the toilets,
on his NGO,
but on his NGO with his wife.
There was a Bill Gates documentary, and they focused on the toilets.
Yep,
they did.
So his legacy is the toilets.
It absolutely is.
So in fact, this is the quotes is saying Bill Gates is going to be remembered, but it's not for Microsoft. It's going to be for his foundation and sanitation.
Absolutely. Yeah. What really stood out to me, and that's why I chose to speak about this, is I find it so interesting that he really is one of the greatest minds out there.
Sure.
His success with Microsoft and everything, that's something to
Now
behold.
the world's biggest company.
Yeah.
Above Apple and Amazon.
His work ethic is something to be in awe of. The amount of books he reads, that's incredible.
Oh, wow.
But what really blew my mind was these things that he was focusing on his NGO.
Yeah.
With nuclear energy.
Yeah.
With these sustainable toilets.
Sanitation. Polio.
Polio. What really was so interesting is this guy who's had all the success in business, absolutely just dominated, to have basically reinvented nuclear energy.
Yep.
As soon as that happens, Trump with the China trade deals
Yep.
just puts an absolute stop. Now, we spoke about this last time on the podcast. Just absolutely put a complete stop to to that. You've got the Fukushima happening with that, basically the reactor exploding.
Yep.
That just puts a stop
Yep.
to the nuclear stuff.
And nuclear is very important for renewable energy. Just like by the way,
absolutely.
very important.
And the way they go into a bit of detail. I'm not going to go into it because it's a bit complicated. But the way they reinvented the reactor, making it completely safe, that in a case of
Is it
what
like
happened
thorium based now or something?
no, it's actually depleted uranium, not enriched uranium.
So then you have a new use case for end of life uranium. Okay,
Which there is a stockpile in the United States that can last them 104 years.
Wow.
And it just burns up. There's no waste. It's not gonna
Go.
it's not gonna go into another stockpile.
But
it just gets used.
You know
up.
what I like this? You're actually finding out why Bill Gates is famous, why he made Microsoft. Is okay, he might have not come up with the thing.
Yeah.
But he pushes innovation to the nth degree.
Yes.
And if you watch the Netflix special, there was moments where in the room where people were just on his nerves or disagreeing with him, he does not move, and he gets upset because he believes so much in himself.
Yeah.
And I love that with this Bill Gates Foundation because it's the biggest foundation in the world.
Sure.
But now all of a
Bill and
sudden,
Melinda Gates
yes,
Foundation. Yeah.
and now you're getting all this innovation, and you're actually like, it wasn't a fluke because when I was in school, a lot of guys would say, "Yeah, it actually wasn't Bill's idea. He stole it. The conspiracy
Yeah, like
around
DOS was
Microsoft."
bought from another company.
Yeah, so you get all this stuff, but actually, he was a genius. And this Netflix special, I mean, what's his book? His book reading count? He gets a bag packed of like 20 thick programming books.
pages an hour.
He reads.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a speed.
his mind is incredible.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Amazing.
So going from a Netflix special, we go to just a tiny bit of entertainment news before we're going to roll out our first segment. So stay tuned for that segment because it's going to be some fun.
Don't go away.
Pitting up everyone against each other. We also remember to hit that like and subscribe button because it does help us. I sound like such like a horrible person now, but please, thank you. It'd be great, guys. Thank you. Okay, first things first. Spider-Man is apparently staying in the MCU. Ben, you found this.
Yeah,
Where?
breaking news. Like
That's
at the time of the recording, like 2 hours ago. Flip.
Was you saw it on 9gag?
Yeah, of all places. Such a reputable source, but we managed to find some
you check
news
Wikipedia?
articles.
It's from Lad Bible, though, the article you found. Is that reputable?
It was just the first one that came up. So yeah, the Spider-Man is staying in the MCU. Sony and Marvel managed to reach an agreement. They even announced a new movie, 16 July 2021.
Whoa.
Flip.
Yeah, so then we're gonna have another Spidey.
Yay.
Okay. And that's
Tom
how
Holland.
good Tom
Yeah.
Holland is.
Yeah.
No.
He
like,
can bring
we've
two
enjoyed this.
giant companies together to
Wow.
make a deal. No, I'm just
It's like, when you
I'm
stop
still
your
jealous
parents
of
from
him.
divorcing. Oh, that was bad. Okay, so that's some good news. And then some more entertainment news. Kanye West is dropping a new album.
Jesus
But-
is king.
So is he a changed man now?
well, it's the question. It might be dropping tonight at midnight. So check Spotify.
Tonight we're recording
Apple
Friday
Music.
before this, by the way. guys.
And Kanye
check-
did not sponsor this podcast for us to say it.
Yeah.
I just want to
Yeah.
say.
But if he wants to sponsor us, I'm totally chilled with that. Shout out Kanye.
I want to say something on the whole Kanye thing. I've been watching his church visits and his church
the Sunday services.
The Sunday services, and it. At first, I was like, "Oh, this is a bit strange. This is a bit weird. What is Kanye doing? Is he seeking attention? Is he trying to be different?" And then I went and I watched the actual service, and it seemed like this guy's properly preaching. There's worship. He interrupts the worship every 2-3 minutes with some not really prophetic word, but some like Bible verse. He talks about your identity being in Christ.
So you feel like he's like this is drawn about like there's actual change. He's putting his money where his mouth
This
is.
is what I want to say: is I want to wait for the album to drop.
Okay.
And I want to wait for the album to get over in 2 years, and then we'll see. Because
Then
what
we'll
if
see.
all the music he's making in these Sunday services is actually just going to be on the album? And that's was the whole point of these
makes
services.
sense.
So
Chance the Rapper's on the album, so
Yes, well,
I'm going to give it a
he
listen.
featured in the one Sunday service.
Oh,
he was
that's pretty cool.
He was leading. He was what do you call the lead singer of a church band?
Yeah,
the lead
but-
singer of the gospel choir. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, no, that works. And then keeping it up with choirs, the Ndlovu Youth Choir. This is a South African choir, a youth choir based up in Limpopo. They went all the way to the US of A and performed in America's Got Talent, and they made it right through to
They
the finals.
killed it.
They did not win though, but
Yeah.
they were offered a deal by Simon Cowell.
Wow.
Like, what do you think this really does for the industry? Like, here in SA and
Well,
like.
it exposes the world to South African
Yeah.
music, South African culture, and I'm happy for the Ndlovu Youth Choir.
Yeah.
because they now got booked out shows all over Europe.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And their futures are pretty much like set.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they won't be the youth choir in 10 years. They'll
Oh,
be the
yeah.
Ndlovu choir.
Do we have another Soweto gospel choir on our hands?
Yeah, bro, maybe a Grammy.
That if they can play the cards right, because they signed
There's
with
Paul Simon.
Sony Music SA
Yeah.
and Simon Cowell. So all the best to them, and we're looking for great things.
Simon Cowell does produce.
He looks after
Yeah.
his people.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
really does. One
Absolutely.
Direction.
1D, bro.
Oh, bro. Hashtag like come back. 1D come back. We're gonna make the trend.
Have they not come back?
No.
Okay,
No,
no,
the Jonas
that's the
Brothers
Jonas
came.
Brothers.
Yes,
They're
very different.
Sorry.
Yeah, Ben like the Jonas
And
Brothers.
Backstreet Boys.
Oh, Backstreet's back, all right.
Backstreet.
Okay, so like it might feel like we've gone very quickly through entertainment news, but like it's entertainment news. It was fun. We have an exciting new segment, which I like to call "I Barely Know That." So the aim of the game is simple.
That
This
bird's
is a
back.
game show type format. What we're doing is I'm going to be reading a question and reading out all of the options. So there's going to be A, B, C, D, and E. Once I have finished talking, I'll signal with a thumbs up. The first person to press their squeaker will be the person to answer that.
Poor Ben.
And then
His squeaker takes a long time to make a noise.
Yeah, it's a bit of a run.
You're
up
gonna
there.
free.
so that's how it's working. You guys are welcome to play along at home. Enjoy it. Post down in the comments how many you guys got right. But we're going to start with the first question. So the first question, are you
And we're
guys
not allowed
ready?
to type on our keyboard for the answer.
No, of course not.
Oh, come on.
You won't get the answers straight up for a few of these. Cool. So for the first one, counting their Plus variants as the same phone, to date, how many iPhone models have been available for sale? Tyron.
I thought you were going to give the options
Oh,
first.
yes, I'm so sorry. Yes,
Okay.
you're right.
I squeezed
First,
it
I'm doing this.
first.
Is it A, 11, B, 10, C, 15, D, 18, or E? Wait, I said D, 18.
Yes.
Then it's E, 20. Yes, Ty?
D18.
It is 18 because I messed it up.
Hey, 1 point to T-Dog.
That was just social engineering. You didn't know.
Yes.
But there was a lot more iPhones. Some might have guessed 11 or 10 because they skipped 9. But there was a lot more iPhones in between. Next up. How did Donald Trump
Wait, what's, sorry to interrupt. What's the, what do we get in return for getting it right? Or is there a point system?
a good feeling or
good
bragging
feeling.
rights? We'll keep track of this for the segment in future. And we're going to have a...
Christmas jersey prize at the end of the year.
I'd be into that. Yes, Christmas jersey prize at the end of the year. Second question. How did Donald Trump make his fortune? Was it A, TV, B, acting, C, owning an airline, D, merch, or E, construction and real estate? Tyron,
Construction and real estate, E.
you are correct. Tyron is up 2. Everyone else is on 0. Guys,
Got to get that Trump merch.
got to
though.
get...
Oh, bro. I bet there is.
Well, everything is Trump
Buy your
merch.
toupee here today.
Savage. Trump steak.
Savage.
Trump vodka.
Trump steak.
Trump steak. That was
Trump
some would
steak.
say that was a mistake.
Vegetarian.
Right. Question 3 ties up 2, just by the way. Which university did Bill Gates attend before dropping out? What? Yes, Ty.
No, Peter went first. That wasn't
Oh,
me.
was it Peter? Yeah?
Yeah.
Harvard.
Yes.
Damn
Well
it,
done,
I knew it
Peter.
was Harvard.
I
You
didn't
were
even
so
read it
quick
out.
on the buzzer.
It was B
Sorry, man,
Harvard.
because I can't wait for that. You're too quick when you...
You're on it, bro. I'm just guessing.
Okay. Question 4. Lewis Hamilton won his first F1 World Championship title with which team? Yes.
McLaren. 2008.
Yes, it was McLaren. And I
You
think it
think-
was 2008. I didn't ask that. Well done. Ty's still in the lead. Ben, you got to step up your game, man.
I'm
You got
sorry,
you,
No, it's
you got to
the
bring
thing
it
is
to
going.
straight.
Run
Just
up.
blow early.
Run up.
My squeaker takes like a few.
Just blow it for the audience quickly, Ben.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Okay, he's blowing now, and only then you hear.
Okay, cool. Question number 5. There's not that many questions, so just bear with me. Question number 5. Which country is Samsung based in? Yes, Ben.
Japan. No, it's sorry.
Peter then goes. You squeeze it next.
You are incorrect. Unfortunately, Peter, you went next.
It is South Korea.
It is South Korea. That point goes to Peter.
Damn it.
It's so close together.
You were like
So is the
talking
negative
about
marking.
Samsung and advocating them this whole time.
Ooh, Ben.
Oh, you did say it right, but the answer has to go to Peter. So Peter 2, Ty, you on 3, yeah?
I think I am.
You're okay.
3.
Yeah.
Where
I
did
am.
the third one come from?
That was
The
the Lewis
Lewis
Hamilton
Hamilton.
Oh,
one.
okay, that's true.
Right. Question 6. What comic book did Spider-Man first appear in? Was it A, Amazing Spider-Man 1, B, Marvel Tales 17, C, Amazing Fantasy 15, or D, Tales to Astonish? Ben?
I'm gonna say B.
No, that is incorrect.
D, Tales to Astonish.
False. No.
It's A or C. Come
Yes.
on.
It's 50. Give me 50-50.
C.
It is C, Amazing Fantasy 15. So, like, I found this from a trivia website. I actually did know this somehow. It is a thing people know.
Amazing.
Amazing Fantasy 15. Wow. After the character took off, they went ahead and, like, gave him his own Amazing Spider-Man series.
cool.
Was created by Stan Lee and that other guy. For your 7th and final question, Ben, this is for redemption.
Here we go.
And I only want you guys, just to make it fair, to press your buzzers after I've read
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
What was Justin Trudeau's job before he was Prime Minister? Like, which one of these was a job before Prime Minister? Was it A, engineer, B, school teacher, C, farmer, D, bus driver, or E, taxi? Flip, who was that?
It's a tie between Peter and me. It's, we don't even know with Ben, though.
No, that definitely wasn't Ben. Okay, rock, paper, scissors to see who goes.
Go.
Oof, between us three.
No, between the two of you, because you guys were tied.
Okay.
Ching,
Rock.
chong, cha. Ching, chong, cha.
What? It's the same.
Cha, cha.
Okay, cool. And we have Ty going first. Ty, what is it?
Teacher.
It was a school teacher. And the winner of the first segment of I Barely Know That, he clearly knows that, Tyron Null. Well done.
Yeah, I barely know.
Well done.
Hey.
You guys were good sports. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully we can read up and be prepared for the next one. Guys, we are pretty much out of time for today's episode of Barely Independent. Thank you so much for joining us on this voyage of knowledge, of fun, of camaraderie and friendship. Like our socials.
Yeah.
Listen to our podcast with your family in the car. It's educational.
Yes.
Sure.
Let the dad hear about it.
Yeah.
My dad's listening.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
it does
Give us a subscribe
Oh,
on
that's nice.
YouTube,
Shout.
a follow on SoundCloud, when Apple Music, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio.
Granda.
No, we're not there. Tyron? No. Okay, that's about all we have time for today. Thank you so much for watching. Well, for listening, Puzzler Pack. See you guys in the next one. Bye.
So much for this being like a family show.
Wow, yeah.